Good morning, ultimate hustlers and digital empire builders. It is that time for the Cortez Hustle Show. And today we're continuing our series on branding for small businesses. And we're going to give you the 7 steps of brand development for small local businesses. You do not want to miss this. Your brand, I'm telling you, is everything if you want your business to be profitable, if you want your business to be sustainable, if you want your business to be scalable, if you want your business to be fundable. You've got to make time to focus on developing your brand. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So do me a huge favor. Comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and or your brand. Smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen. And let's kick it this morning. Yo, what's up, ultimate hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite SaaSpreneur, coming to you live and direct from the local Biz Marketing Pros studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Listen, if you have a business and you're looking to optimize your online presence, increase your lead flow, grow your revenue so that you can expand your operation and contribute more to the communities that you serve, then I need you to do me a favor. Go over to localbizmarketingpros.com and check out what we have for you. We are masters at growing your online presence with a specific focus on lead generation and building profitable, sustainable online businesses or profitable, sustainable lead generation systems for local businesses, particularly service-based brick and mortar businesses in your local community. Loan officer Aces, I believe it says in the house. I can't see that very well. Let me see if I bring it up on the screen. Loan officer who cares is in the building. Welcome to the show today. I appreciate you for tuning in. So today we're focusing on the 7 steps of brand development for small local businesses. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but your brand says it all, man. Your brand. Now, if you're just trying to sell a product here or there, if you're just got your side hustle, hook up or hobby, and you're just trying to make some quick money, then this probably is not for you, right? If, however, you're trying to build a business that is going to last, that's going to be profitable and sustainable, that's going to be scalable and fundable, one of the challenges that we have for small local businesses, particularly Black-owned businesses, is we don't have access to funding. And though a lot of that has to do with systemic racism, more than not, there is some challenges on our part Like, we don't have the right business models. We don't have the right business structures in a lot of cases that would even put us in the arena for business funding, right? So we've got to change some things about how we do business. And your brand, when you can walk into a bank and you're asking for a loan and you tell them your business and they be like, oh, I heard of that. Oh, you're the person who owns that? Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with that brand. That puts you in a different category. That puts you in a different stratosphere. So that's what we're talking about today. A couple quick announcements before we get underway. Tomorrow's show, we're hanging out with Brian Hill. We're talking about fatherhood and why isn't fatherhood making a comeback, right? So we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. Also, tomorrow night, we have a special primetime edition of the St. Louis Hustle podcast. We got a chance to talk to Nishan Harvey, owner of Latte Lounge out here in Florissant, and the co-owner of Latte Lounge and HG Eatery in downtown St. Louis. This young lady is 24 years old, and she literally signed a commercial lease for her daycare business before she even signed a lease for her own place, right? I'm telling you, when you want to be inspired, you don't believe that you can do something that God has called you to do, my friend, you've got to listen to tomorrow's episode. So it's going to be right here on these same channels. Of course, I'm going to share it with you guys as well, but you check that out. But also for those of you who are in St. Louis at their downtown location, I'm going to grab the link and put that in the comments here in a second. They're doing a brunch after hours with karaoke. So that's going to be pretty cool. I think my wife and I are going to go hang out down there. Your boy might get up on stage and show y'all what I can do with this voice other than talk a bunch of stuff, right? No, I'm kidding, because I can't sing, right? A lot of my son can sing, my dad and my mom can sing, but you know how they say it sometimes skips a generation, right? So it certainly skipped me. But nevertheless, that's what we're doing this week. Also, Friday, I got a very special Inside the Hustle episode where I got a chance to talk to one of the dopest marketers and marketing trainers on the planet. And I'm gonna let you guys hear that conversation as well. So that's what we got coming up. Don't forget, you can always join our free Facebook group, Local Biz Marketing Mastermind. I'm putting some new courses in there for you guys today. So if you're not already part of that mastermind community, make sure you do that. So let's get into officially starting the show. And y'all know how we start the show. We start the show with a quote of the day. And today's quote says this. It's a challenging one for you because I don't know about you, but I get sick and tired of people complaining about what they don't have. So the quote says this: do or don't do, but don't not do and complain. Have you ever heard somebody complaining about their weight, complaining about the pay on their job, complaining about their spouse, complaining about just about everything, but they are not doing anything to change any of that? Are you talking? Listen, do or don't do, but don't not do and complain all freaking day, right? If you don't like the way you look, push away from the table and take your butt to the gym, right? If you don't like what your paycheck says on Friday, then go online and search for how to make some money on the side and do something about that, right? You got one time to complain to me about anything. And when you come back the next time, if we have another conversation, that conversation has to be solutions oriented. We've already broke down and pontificated on the problem. Now, what in the heck are we going to do about it? And if your answer is nothing, then you don't get any of my time. But if you want to actually do something about it, if you want to get fitter, then maybe I can recommend a gym. Maybe I can recommend a program. Maybe I can recommend a diet. If you don't like what your paycheck says, maybe I can recommend a side hustle for you to get started on. Digital marketing, content creation, digital products. Those are things that you can do with no money to start, by the way. So if you're serious about making a change, then get to making the change and do less complaining about the things that you want to change, because complaining ain't never helped nobody. Complaining ain't never moved the needle for nobody. Complaining ain't never changed anything for anybody, right? If you don't like something about your life, stop acting like you don't have the power in your hand to do something about it. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by our automated leads machine. Meet the AI assistant that helps you scale your cold outreach campaigns faster, cheaper, and easier. 40 times faster, 13 times cheaper, 400 times easier. Our automated artificial intelligence will literally go out and find your target market. It will start those conversations, put your irresistible offer in front of those people, even book them on your calendar when they're ready to talk, right? Who needs more leads? It's a question. Go to localbizmarketingpros.com and check out our automated leads machine, or you can go to our software company, blackbizsuccess.com, and get all the details there. So we started a series on Monday about branding for small businesses, right? And I do want to acknowledge my man Richard in the building. He says, so happy to hear people talking about digital marketing and the importance for local businesses. Listen, my friends, one of the reasons that so many local businesses closed their doors during our first wave of quarantine when COVID kicked off is because they didn't have a strong online presence. They didn't have email systems and text messages systems. They didn't have their Facebook pages set up. They didn't have the digital presence so that they can keep their customers abreast of what was going on. They were not in position to scoop up portions of the marketplace when other businesses were closing down. If you had a strong online presence, chances are you grew during the recession instead of having to close your doors permanently. That's what a strong online presence does, right? Exactly. They needed to pivot to online orders and communication. And those who already had the online presence, Richard, it was a seamless transition. But those who were scrambling to put that stuff in place, they missed out. And some of those that did come back online, they are now still struggling. While most people who focused on this 5 years ago, oh, their business is booming, right? I just witnessed, I'm in St. Louis. Some of you guys are familiar with the brand Slutty Vegan, right? Slutty Vegan is out of Atlanta. Dope brand, right? Now, I don't know what the food tastes like. I've never had the food, but I'm in St. Louis and I'm hearing about this brand everywhere. Just last weekend, I'm driving down one of our popular arteries called Delmar, right? On my way to go pick somebody up. And I see this line of people that is stretching for probably 3 blocks. And I'm like, what the heck is going on over here? Now, this part of town, we're entering into a popular tourist destination called the Delmar Loop, but we're about 4 blocks from the Delmar Loop. So it's not really supposed to be popping like this at this part of town, but there's a line for blocks. And I'm like, what's going on? And when I finally get to the source, y'all know what it was? Slutty Vegan food truck. It was a Slutty Vegan food truck. And people were lined up around the corner. What do you think they're doing with that Slutty Vegan brand? They're testing the market in St. Louis to see if there's enough outpour of support that will justify them putting a Slutty Vegan in St. Louis. Oh, it was amazing. Like, I was so happy for that brand, and I don't even know them, but I just know that that's the benefit of good branding, right? And you're not branding if you're not taking your online presence serious. So last week we talked about, what a brand is, and I'm not going to go into a deep dive, or actually on Monday we did this. I'm not going to go into a deep dive of each one of these definitions, but we laid the foundation, and I'll put a link to part 1 in the comments. What is branding and why is it important to small businesses? It builds trust, recognition, loyalty, reputation. 66% of customers say that brands' culture and transparency attracted them to buy. 62% want companies to stand up for issues. So I talk about this all the time. Companies need to put their why on their sleeve. They need to put their why in their branding, in their commercials, talk about what they stand for and represent, not just your products or services, but your customer relations, your employee relations, your promises, your values, your societal goals are all part of your brand, right? So let's get into these we're talking 7 steps of brand development. And just for your reference, I am looking at an article on SBA Hartford. So I'm gonna put that in the comments for you guys so you can go get all the details yourself and not have to get it secondhand from me. But I wanna highlight some things on this article. And of course, I've got some of my own thoughts on brand development. So the steps outlined above provide a comprehensive blueprint of the brand development process. You'll find that certain steps may be more easily accomplished by enlisting the help of individuals outside of your core team. For example, talking with existing customers can help you determine your target audience, and a graphic design professional is often essential in helping you to create a powerful visual identity. So let's get into number 1 of the 7 steps of brand development is outline your brand's purpose. That's number 1. If you're going to build a brand, let's outline its purpose. The first step in the brand development process might look like the most simple of all the steps, but it's a good idea to take some time to more deeply consider your brand's purpose and ask yourself these questions. What problems do you solve with your product or service? What products do you solve with your product or service? This is critically important. Some of us will create a product or come up with a service that we would like to have in our lives. But if there's not enough of a marketplace of support, don't go, you got to do this stuff first, because you can go put a lot of time, energy, and effort in building something that nobody wants. Ask me how I know, because I've been there, right? I've done that, right? What problems does your product or service solve, right? What makes your product or service or this brand, what makes it unique? What makes it stand out, right? And I'll tell you this, when you are building your products and services and your brand, and it's coming from you, the authentic, what Russell Brunson calls the charismatic leader, and it's centered around you, that creates a unique brand in and of itself. Now, your product or service, you also want to have some uniqueness about either what you deliver or how you deliver it, right? You want to have some uniqueness about you there. Why should customers care about your brand, right? These are the questions that you need to really ask yourself to help you come up with a brand strategy. What problems do my products or services solve? What makes my brand unique? Why should customers care about my brand? How is my mission statement reflected in my brand's purpose, right? What is your mission statement, right? That is critically important. Our mission is to help small local businesses optimize their online presence, increase their lead flow, grow their revenue. Why would we want to help them do that? So that they can expand their operation and contribute more to the communities that they serve. We believe that your dollar is better spent on Main Street than it is on Wall Street, meaning small local brands, that money stays in the community, spend with national brands, and only 10 to 12% of that money stays in a community, right? Ask and answer these questions. Does my brand's purpose support the specific brand promises I'm making, right? Does my brand's purpose support the promises, right? What is the purpose of Local Biz Marketing Pros, right? What is the purpose of this brand? To help small businesses expand, right? So that they can hire more people in their community, right? Does my purpose support that promise, right? I'm promising to optimize your online presence for you as a small business. I'm promising to increase your lead flow, right? My promise is to help you increase your revenue. Well, if my mission is help to ultimately see small businesses expand their operations so they can contribute more to their local communities, right? That's my purpose. I want to help you guys expand and grow, but my promise has to support that. So if I help you optimize your online presence, increase your lead flow, and grow your revenue, then you should be able to expand and contribute, right? That's the key. So number one on our list of 7 steps of brand development is outline your brand's purpose, right? What is the purpose of your brand? Ask yourself the tough questions, right? What problems do my products or services solve? What makes my brand unique? Why should my customers care about my brand? How is my mission statement reflected in my brand's purpose? And does my brand's purpose support the specific brand promises I'm making? That's number one. We're going to get through all 7 today, I promise y'all. But before we go any further, we got to get into some 1-minute motivation. If you are new to the Cortez Hustle Show, every episode we do something called 1-minute motivation. That's where I share a short motivational clip, usually 60 to 90 seconds or so. I'm going to ask you to give your takeaways. I'm going to give a couple takeaways as well. And we'll shout out our sponsors. So let's get into some 1-minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
And one of the hardest things you will ever face in your road to destiny is forgiveness. That's the hardest thing you're going to ever face, guys. Now follow me here. Why do marriages end in divorce? Why do family members stop speaking to each other and completely cut each other off? How can 2 childhood friends grow up together and can't stand being in the same room with each other and have a passion or a hatred towards each other? How come people leave churches and be upset and become church hurt? It's all because of offenses, guys. All because of offenses. Offenses has a toxicity to it, a pollution, if you will, that if it's not properly dealt with or expelled from the heart, it will seep down into your soul, poison your personality, and entrap your mind, your will, and your emotions. Offenses, if they're not properly dealt with, they will rob you of your peace. They will rob you of your joy. They will rob you of your faith. This is why the disciples said, increase our faith.
Hoo-wee. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, listen. What did y'all hear, man? What did y'all hear? Forgiveness is the hardest thing that most of us will ever face. I'm trying to think about that, right? I was studying Brendan Burchard's high performance habits, right? And he talked about the difference between emotions and feelings. And he made a very unique observation that I want to share with y'all today. He talks about your emotions as the instinctive feelings that well up, like those things that you have trained your body that when certain things happen, you have trained your mind that when certain things happen, this is how you react. Now let me take that back. Let me really say this, because you ain't trained your mind to do nothing. Society has trained your mind that when certain offenses happen, you are supposed to react a certain way, right? Everything that we consume, y'all, if we are not intentional about how we consume it and why we consume it, everything is shaping our minds and our entire existence to be used by somebody else, to be controlled by somebody else. So you've been taught that when someone cuts you off in traffic, you're supposed to chase them down and give them the finger or cut them off back, right? That's the emotion part. That's the instinctive reaction to something happening to you, something being said. But he said, your feelings, though, is the meaning that you give to that emotion. And one of the things that I always try to do, and to my detriment, right? Because I'm probably the most non-confrontational person that you ever want to meet. I don't want no smoke for nobody, and I don't want nobody bothering me, and I ain't gonna bother nobody, right? But one of the things I always try to do, even when someone creates an offense against me, I try to put myself in their shoes. And then the other thing that I do is I try to remember a time. I try to remember whether or not there was a time that I did not make that very same offense. I want you to hear me out. Before I get mad at the person who cuts me off in traffic, I ask myself, Cortez, have you ever cut somebody off in traffic? What's the answer? Yeah. Why did you do it? Oh man, it was some reason, some excuse that I gave myself permission to do that. Well, could that person not have a valid reason or excuse that they're giving themselves to do that? They're not cutting you off personally because they don't even know you. They're just weaving through traffic, right? Your emotions or the reactions that you have been programmed to take against certain offenses and actions. But your feelings are the meanings that you give to those emotions. And if you constantly give those emotions the wrong meaning, you can let 60 seconds ruin your entire day. You can let a single word or a single sentence that someone says to you ruin your entire week because you're giving the wrong meaning to the emotion. Am I saying that I don't ever get mad, upset, disappointed, frustrated? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I am actively in the practice of evaluating the meaning that I'm giving to that emotion before I let that emotion cause me to take actions that I might regret in the future. You're running around here mad, bitter, upset. Someone cut you off in traffic. Now all day at work, you thinking about that. You go home, you can't wait to tell your spouse about how that person 12 hours later, you're still giving a meaning to that emotion that ain't serving you. Forgiveness, y'all. What they say about bitterness is like you drinking the poison and wishing the other person dies. That person who cut you off in traffic is probably already forgiven themselves for being late, for making the move and causing you to be upset, and they've gone on about their day. And you're still fuming and ruminating over it. When it comes to your loved ones, right? Here's one more thing that I'll share, and then we'll get back to the show. When I learned the definitions of grace and mercy, changed my life. All the time, I've raised in the church, right? My mom's a minister for the past 30 years. I never really knew the meanings of grace and mercy. And now that I do, it helps me deal with the people in my life. See, grace is when you get something that you don't deserve. Mercy, on the other hand, is when you don't get something that you do deserve. And when I'm dealing with the people in my life, I've got to know when to exercise grace and mercy. Somebody upset me, they might get mercy. They deserve to get punched in the mouth, but they get grace, right? Somebody betray me, or they get mercy. Somebody betrays me, they deserve for me to cut them off according to societal norms. I should cut that person off and never deal with them again. I shouldn't allow them to be in my presence. I shouldn't allow them to see my kids. Like these are things that people go through, and they do this kind of stuff, right? Over small grievances. So the person betrays me, they deserve to not be allowed to be in my presence, but they get grace and they get what they don't deserve. And when I look at that and I move throughout my life, I look at things that I've said and done to some people that I love, and the fact that I get to stand and continue to hang out with them and continue to love on them and to repair the damages. I'm like, man, thank God for grace, right? When I made some moves that according to societal norms could cause people to want to cause me bodily harm, and they don't, I thank God for mercy. But we're receiving all of this grace and mercy, but we don't want to extend no grace and mercy. Slightest little thing, and it tips us over the edge. Now, I'm not saying this is easy. This is years and years and years of practice, y'all. But I'm saying you got to start practicing emotional intelligence. Otherwise, you're going to let that bitterness eat at your bones, and it's going to cause you to not live your best life, right? So that, my friends, is 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by our private Facebook group, ladies and gentlemen, Local Biz Marketing Mastermind. If you want to optimize your online presence, increase your leads, grow your revenue, we have a private Facebook group. The link is in the show notes, in the comments. Go ahead and click to join, answer the questions. I've got a ton of new resources going into the group this weekend. So y'all might want to be in that group to get access to this. And do yourself a favor and network with other business owners in that group. Now, you never know. You might find your business bestie. You might find your next business partner. You might find a referral partner. We're creating a safe environment for us to come hang out and talk business, centered around marketing and growing our online presence. But it's all things business and entrepreneurship in that group. So make sure y'all check that out. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking 7 steps of brand development for small businesses. We talked about number 1, your online, your brand's purpose. How do you outline that? You ask yourself the questions: what problems do my products and services have? What makes my brand unique? Why should my customers care about my brand? How is my mission statement reflected in my brand's purpose? And does my brand's purpose support the specific brand promises that I'm making, right? Number 2, this is one. What the heck is going on with my voice this morning? Number 2, this is one that we should do before we start businesses, but we tend to not do. And when we do it wrong. Number 2 is research competitors' brands, right? Why spend time on researching your competitor's brand? Researching the competition will show you how your competitors are positioning their brands and the kinds of brand strategies they're using. You will also obtain more information about their target audience and how it responds to your competitors' branding and communication initiatives. This will give you an increased understanding of how to better differentiate your own products and services, which can have a specific impact on the development of your own messaging and your own strategies. This is huge. when you're looking at the competition, I look for a couple things. I look for what they are doing well. I look for what they are not doing well. I look at their reviews and I see what their customers are saying about their products and services, what they're excited about. I look at the 4 and 5-star reviews, and that tells me what their customers are saying that they're doing right. But y'all know where the money is? Y'all know where the magic is? The magic is looking at their 1 and 2-star reviews. See, when you see your competition in the marketplace and you go through their reviews and you see they have some 1-star reviews, read what those people are saying, because that is usually where the gap is. They're saying, hey, this product was great, but it's missing these 2 elements that would have put it over the top. Oh, that's a clue. Hint, hint. Right? So I look at their posts that go viral. They got a lot of comments on them. But then I look at their posts that have no comments on them. Right? You can learn a lot from studying the competition. Not that I am competing with them. You guys have heard me say that entrepreneurship is warfare, but the war is not fought against the competition, the other people in the marketplace. Your war is fought with yourself as the entrepreneur, right? That's where the true war is. So when I'm looking at the marketplace, I'm looking at other digital marketing services and products and features. I'm looking at their languaging. I'm following them on Facebook. I'm following them on Instagram, right? I'm looking at how the market is responding to their messaging. I'm looking at the customers that they are attracting. I go to their customers page and I look at their profiles and say, oh, okay, these are the types of businesses that are looking for digital marketing solutions. I look at their reviews, not just their 4 and 5-star reviews and what their customers are saying they're excited about. Yes, I want to take that in, but then I go to the 1-star reviews. What are the customers saying that this brand is not fulfilling on? This brand is not doing well. And that's all intel for me to craft my own messages, for me to bring unique products and services to the market. If I go across the top 5 marketing companies that are in my sphere of market share, right? And I look at 1-star reviews from all 5 of them, and all 5 of the 1-star reviews are saying, man, that was amazing, but I wish they all say they're missing this one thing. Oh, can I deliver on that one thing then? There's clearly a gap in the marketplace that all of their customers are saying none of their products has this one thing, right? Can I deliver on that one thing and that be the thing that separates me from the other brands in the marketplace? That's what you have to ask yourself, right? So, number 2, make sure you are researching the competition, right? Ethically and morally, not to steal any other ideas, but to see what are they getting right and how are their customers responding? What are they not doing so well? And what are the customers' response and reaction to the things that they're not doing so well? And utilize that data in your own brand strategy and creating your messaging, products, and services. Number 3, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about 7 steps of brand development. Number 1 is outline your brand's purpose. Number 2 is research your competitor's brand. Number 3, decide on your target market. That's it, Mark. You got to model, not copy. Model. Number 3, decide on your target audience, right? You can't develop strong branding until you know who you want your brand to speak to. And when it comes to target audiences, bigger is not always better. In fact, the more you can narrow down your target audience, the more effective your branding strategies will be. Some things that can help you be more specific and find your niche include the following. Demographic factors such as age, gender, occupation, right? the target audience of similar or competing brands. Sales and marketing statistics can help you with your targeting, right? Discussions and surveys of existing customers. Ask your customers, man, what do you want to see from us? From this industry, what do you think is missing? What are digital marketing agencies not providing that really would help you in your business, right? Being more specific about your audience provides you with a narrower area of focus, which enables you to craft compelling messages that are capable of speaking directly to the customers who would benefit most from your brand. And understand this, if your brand is your promise, right? Branding is the messaging that describes that promise. It's a continual process, and you will have more than one brand message, right? So for instance, as a digital marketer, I know that there are women-owned businesses, there are men-owned businesses, there are Black man-owned businesses, there are Black woman-owned businesses, there are veteran-owned businesses, there are disabled veteran-owned businesses. Why am I saying that? Because as a digital marketer, I want to serve these small businesses, but when you can call out the person that you're talking to by name in your marketing, it's a lot more effective. So I can put out a YouTube video or a Facebook video ad that says, hey, local small business owner, I want to help you optimize your online presence, increase your lead flow, and grow your revenue. That's going to touch some people, right? But I could also say, hey, I'm Cortez from Local Biz Marketing Pros, and I help disabled veteran-owned businesses optimize their online presence, increase their lead flow, grow their revenue so they can expand their operations and contribute more to their communities that they serve. Now, my focus of that particular message speaks to one person, a disabled veteran who owns a business. Now, that does not mean 5 minutes later, my next commercial could say, hey, it's Cortez from Local Biz Marketing Pros. I help Black-owned businesses who are female-owned optimize their online presence, increase their lead flow, grow their revenue so that they can contribute more and expand the operations. Like, I can have multiple messages aimed at particular business types, and I can have all types of systems and funnels and follow-up sequences specifically tailored to the problem that only a disabled veteran-owned business would have. I can have messaging and sequences that follow up, that support the messaging and the problems and offer solutions to problems that only Black female business owners would have. Why would I go through so much trouble? Because at the end of the day, every business is a relationship business. And when you can laser target your messaging in that way, you know what the people on the other end say? Oh, they get me. They get me. Yeah, I've heard me say this before. I'm going to say it again before we move on. The person that can articulate the problem the best is by default assumed to have the best solution. And when I can articulate the problems that a disabled veteran business owner has that only they deal with, they're saying, this person knows so much about that, they must have the answer. That's how you really hone in on your target audience. Get very specific, get very detailed. Even if you have a product that serves a wide range of people, all of your messaging should be custom tailored to one individual. Next on our list, number 4, we're talking 7 steps to brand development. Number 4, determine your brand personality. This is a good one, right? This is a good one. Your brand has a personality. For example, it may be playful or serious, traditional or adventurous. It's important to consider what your brand personality is, as it has a significant impact on your branding strategies, right? Whether it is the visual language that defines your logo or business card, the customer service you provide, or your social media interactions, knowing your brand personality will enable you to provide a consistent and authentic message across the board. I know that my brand's personality is more serious, powerful, and impactful, more contemporary and versus more traditional, right? I know that I'm not playful and colorful in my brand, and I'm okay with that. Some people will be attracted to that, but that's not me, right? My brand's personality is closer to my personality. I'm not flamboyant, I'm not flashy, so neither is my brand, right? When I know that and I have people writing content for me, when I know that and I have people helping me with video content and all sorts of things, I can tell them out of the gate. Jokes don't go over well with me because I'm not the joking type of person. So we're not putting those in the scripting, right? I'm not flamboyant. I'm not flashy. So no, I'm not putting that kind of stuff on. I'm a little bit more conservative, right? In my dress and my talk and my like everything. Like your brand has a personality, and you've got to define that so that all of your messaging then becomes in alignment with that. So that whether someone meets me online or offline, it's the same dude. It's the same dude. Yeah, he's dry, he's shy, he's reserved. He knows his stuff though. He's serious. He ain't playing. He ain't doing a lot of joking and gesturing. Like that's my brand's personality, and that's who I am as a real person in real life. So define that for yourself. That way, it becomes easier for you to align all of your messaging with that personality. So whether someone meets you online, they come to an online virtual workshop or webinar, or see a sales video or whatever, or they meet you in person, see you doing a presentation, walk up to you at a networking event, they feel like there's a connection there with you already, because who you are in your brand, who you are online, translates to who you are offline, and there's a level of consistency there, right? Next on the list, if you're just tuning in, we're talking 7 steps of developing brand development. And number 5, develop a brand story and messaging, right? This is so important. We talk about our why a lot as the motivation for us to get up and do what it is that we need to do, right? My motivation to get up and work out and start my day sometimes at 4:30 in the morning. My motivation to stay extra and take on an extra assignment and get it done before I wrap up the day. We talk about our why and that standpoint. But your why in terms of why you are in the business that you're in, your why in terms of what are the core values that are non-negotiable for you when you're doing business. Those are equally important to share early in your business's life cycle and often, right? It's true that what they say behind every good brand, there's a story and a consistent messaging. By telling the story of your brand's journey from conception to market, you can connect emotionally with your target customers. And knowing what your brand messages are lets you develop consistency in your brand voice across all your marketing and operational channels. Questions to ask yourself to help you with your brand story. What motivated me to create this business? What motivated me to create this business? I got into the digital marketing space because there's two things that hold small businesses back more than anything, particularly Black-owned businesses, and that is marketing and a lack of access to capital. Those two things. Now, I don't have my own bank, so I can't force them to get capital, but I can help them with their marketing. Because of their marketing, I can help them adjust their model. A lot of times we don't get access to funding because we have the wrong model in terms of business, right? So I can help small businesses with their marketing and their model, which will increase their revenue, build a stronger brand, and now their business becomes more fundable, and it becomes so fundable that it's hard for a bank or an investor to turn them down when they're looking for capital, right? What are the highlights of the journey I have taken to build my business, right? Ask yourself these questions, and I promise you, it's going to change how you craft your messaging. And the moment that you get an opportunity to talk to prospective customers, whether it's one-on-one or in a public setting, one-to-many, you're going to have the stories to tell that connects people to your business emotionally. What philosophies guide me and the direction of my business? I'm a Christian entrepreneur. I want to do everything with the utmost integrity, right? I want to do everything in a way that it brings glory to God, right? Whether that is me quoting scriptures or that is me living scriptures out in my business, right? In what ways do my products and services reflect my business's core values? These are questions you can ask yourself when you're trying to get that message down. Now, if you want a book that can help you with that story, then Expert Secrets is a great book. Russell Brunson goes through the entire structure of a good origin story and helps you really take it to the next level. And I do have a link to that in the comments in the show notes. So you might want to grab that if you're having trouble coming up and crafting that brand story. Number 6, right? We're talking about 7 steps of brand development. Number 6, create a visual identity. What most people creating a visual identity is, for most people, creating a visual identity is the most familiar part of the brand development process. But in order to create an effective visual identity, it's a step that needs to come later in the process. Whether it's your logo, your business cards, or your website, the right visual identity for your brand is the one that best reflects your brand's purpose, personality, and story. But if you haven't defined all of that stuff beforehand, I promise you, you're going to have to go back and redo that. Ask me how I know. Because when I got into the marketing space, a lot of you guys know I've been online marketing in the personal coaching space, network marketers, coaches and consultants for a long time, but I hadn't really directed my attention towards small, local, brick and mortar service-based businesses and local communities until just last year. In fact, we are celebrating our 1-year anniversary of Local Biz Marketing Pros, and I'm excited about that. But I took the same brand elements from the original branding Financial Health Mentor and Work with Cortez, and I brought them over to Local Biz Marketing Pros. And as I started working with small businesses, I'm like, no, the messaging is all off. The purpose is all off. So I built out all of these assets because I didn't follow this methodology. And now I had to go back and redo all of that. My website is just redone and relaunched. Like it's crazy. So do it in the right way. Don't create the visual elements first. Create your brand story, your messaging, identify your target audience, define your purpose. Like all of that stuff comes before the logo, right? And you have to do it like really do it and then test it in the marketplace. So I can bring up my logo for Local Biz Marketing Pros, but that's not the permanent logo. That was the placeholder as I was developing all of this stuff. Now I got an idea and a picture of what I really want that logo to look like based on having all of this stuff in place. Without completing the previous first steps, it would be challenging to know these various intangibles are and how to they might affect your brand visually. Last but not least, 7 steps of brand development. Number 7, integrate your brand into your business. The brand development process doesn't end once you've completed all of the previous steps. You now need to integrate your brand into your business. The integration results in consistent messaging, and over time, this consistency translates not only into brand recognition, but also consumer trust. With 81% of consumers indicating trust is one of their top deciding factors when making brand buying decisions, building this trust is an essential component of a strong brand. Integrating your brand into your business means every aspect of your business needs to reflect your brand, whether it's your online presence, your retail stores, your customer service, your email communications. Your staff will also play an integral role in your brand marketing, and it's a good idea to provide brand training to current employees and incorporate such trainings into your new employees' orientation. What does that mean? That means everybody has got to be on brand all the time. In fact, when you got this dialed in, you won't even hire the wrong people. When this is dialed in and it becomes part of the culture, you'll be able to see right away when someone walks through your door trying to fill a role within your company that their values don't line up with this. Oh, this person is not going to be able to express our brand's vision, mission, our brand strategies, our core values. Having this stuff in place and bringing it all together in everything that you do, it's a reflection of what is our mission. Our bigger mission is to help Black people become the #1 employers of Black people in the next 2 generations. How do we do that? We do that by helping them in their marketing. If they can optimize their online presence, increase their lead flow, grow their revenue, they can then expand operations and contribute more to the communities that they serve. What is one of the biggest ways they can contribute to the communities they serve? They can hire the people that live in those communities. Yeah. When they expand that operation, they can network with other small businesses in their community. And now everybody is growing. The community as a whole is growing. They've got more revenue to donate to the Little League team. They got more time, freedom to go to the local schools and talk to the boys and girls about the power of entrepreneurship. They've got more revenue and they've got more business. Now they can hire more staff from the communities that they serve. And when you have all of this stuff dialed in, you could literally create the culture that supports all of this stuff. And now your words become your flesh, right? Just like us as Christians, our job is to make God's word become our flesh. Well, when you build your business and you create your brand's identity and you go through all of these things, then the goal, when you're integrating your brand into your business, the goal is for that the words that you put together to shape this thing becomes the flesh of the business, and everybody associated with the business internally should be a walking embodiment of the brand. And that, my friend, is the 7 steps of brand development. And that is also our time. So we're done here. Tomorrow, I'm sitting with Brian Hill. We're making a call to fatherhood, right? So if you know any amazing fathers, or you know any amazing young men who are thinking about becoming fathers, you might want to have them tune in tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, our conversation with Nishan Harvey of Latte Lounge is going to premiere. So make sure y'all like the page and follow and subscribe and do all of that YouTube and Facebook stuff so that y'all stay connected. So when those episodes drop, you'll be right in line and get those notifications. So until next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.